Hi everyone, it's April with Hair 101 and I'm going to show you how to wax with Cerapil Blue Wax, and I'm going to do eyebrows today. So they have two different little things that you need to prep with. So this is the Cerapil Blue Lotion, and this is like a cleanser. So you just stick a little bit on a cotton swab and you're going to just lightly wipe it over all of the areas that you will be waxing. And this does remove a little bit of makeup if people have it. And I always do underneath the eyebrow, above the eyebrow, and right between, because those are all of the spots that I shaped. And then when that dries, you go through with just a teeny bit of this Cerapil oil. And this just helps protect the skin from getting ripped off, even though, honestly, when I wax eyebrows, most of the time I don't even do these two steps because the Cerapil Blue Wax is so awesome. Most of the time the skin just is fine without doing this, but you're supposed to do this. And I'm being honest with you that I don't always do it because I don't think that it's 100% necessary, but I'm listening to the directions because when I teach, I don't want haters. So you just lightly rub the oil over the top of the skin, and then I take a cotton ball after that and then wipe off all of the excess. So you're just removing as much of the oil as you possibly can. And that just preps the skin so that the oil protects the skin a little bit from the wax sticking to that, because the Cerapil Blue Wax is a hard wax. You don't use strips with it. You apply it onto the skin and it kind of shrink wraps around the hairs, and it sticks only to the hairs so that when you rip it off, you're not ripping off layers of skin with it. So it's really cool technology. In fact, I've tested it several times on the back of my wrist right here, and there's no hair at all on that. When I peel it off, it doesn't hurt at all. So that proves that it's not really ripping off skin, it's just pulling out the hairs. So when it hurts, it's only hurting because you're ripping the hairs out. It's not hurting because you ripped the whole top layer of skin off and it's like on fire and burning and red. And that's why I really like this brand. I think it's the best. So now that her skin is prepped, you can take the wax. So I like to use these little teeny sticks for the eyebrows. They have some that are a little bit longer that I actually think are a little bit better to use, but I have these and I'm trying to use them up. So they're a little bit harder to hold on to, but they're fine. I'm just gonna keep her natural eye shape, and I'm just gonna close your eyes for a second. I'm just gonna clean up a little bit in here and then between here, and then just a teeny little line on the top, because as you can see right here, there's a few little strays. All right, so anytime you apply wax, you apply it in the direction that the hair grows. So the hair grows this way. So I'm going to start up here and I just do a little swipe with this stuff, and then you kind of follow it all the way down. And with Cerapil wax, you wanna make sure you have a lip. And that's a little teeny ridge of the wax that stays thicker. You see how it's kind of shallow in the middle, but then there's these ridges. And doing that prevents the wax from ripping when you pull it off. It keeps it all intact and strong. And it also makes it easy to flip the edge up when you're ready to pull the wax. So, and it does take some practice. But here's the other thing, don't panic if you get some of this in hair that you don't want to rip out, because all you need to do is take this oil and then you put it on a cotton pad and you can rub it onto, like if you were to get it into the eyebrow right here, you can rub it onto the wax, and it softens it a little bit, and you can kind of just scrape it out with your fingernail. And if that's not working, you can take the blow dryer on a really low warm setting and warm it up a little bit, and it will melt it just enough to kind of roll it out. And you can pull it out of the hair without ripping it off. So I like that a little bit better than the honey waxes, because it's such a different color. The honey waxes are really clear, and if they run down in there, sometimes you don't even know. And sometimes when you stick the paper on and push down on it, it leaks down in there too. So you get these really weird patterns that you waxed out. So I really like this stuff better, and I think it's a lot easier to use. It might be a little bit harder to use at first when you adjust, but then you'll end up loving it, I promise. So then underneath, you make sure they close their eyes, and you're just going to start right in here, and you're going in the direction that the hair grows. And it's okay if this gets on their eyelid a little bit, because there's no hair down there, and so it's just gonna come right off without hurting them. And you just draw the line. Make sure that you have, turn your head a little bit. Make sure that you have a good lip here to pick up, and I do, so I'm gonna leave that one there. If you find that it's too thin and you don't have a lip, then you can go back over it and just add some more. Just applying it the same direction the hair grows. Making that lip at the bottom, and you can go back in and kind of tighten it up a little bit if it's, I usually do one application to just kind of get it on there, and then I smear it up with the stick and to get like a really pretty line. And now that we have those two on, by the time I usually get them all on, there's one over here that's dry or cooled off enough to rip off. So I'm gonna come over here and check them. And just by touching them, you can feel if they're hard enough. If you can touch them and they melt and squish down, then they're not done. But these ones are done. And this is very important. You need to hold the skin tight when you're waxing. If you just rip this up, it's going to pull her skin up. Like, look how stretchy your skin is. Ooh, sorry, that's not working. Let me grab your cheeks. I'm your auntie. Ooh, see, it'll just like pull her cheeks up. But if you're right here and you hold the skin tight, you can't pull the skin up. So there won't be any bruising and it will feel a lot better. So what I do is I take my left hand, my forefinger and my thumb, and I pull the skin as tight as I can get it. And now we applied the wax in the direction hair grew. You always rip it off in the opposite direction that you applied and the opposite direction that it grows. So I'm gonna hold this tight, flip it up with my fingernail really quick to get this little ledge to hold on to. And then you rip it really quickly and you keep your hand close to the face. You're just gonna roll it around. Oh, that was a really bad example. Sorry, Cass. So you're just gonna roll it around like that. And then I always push my finger down onto their skin after. And that keeps the nerves from like registering the pain as much. And it really helps to help ease some of the sting that immediately happens right when you pull. So same thing right here again. I'm gonna flick the edge, pull it fast, and then just lay my finger down. Not too bad. Are you gonna cry? Mm-hmm. And you can see now we have this really pretty shape. So we're gonna go to the other side, flip it up, roll it, finger down. And you can see on this wax, it's cool. You can see all the little hairs that pull out. And same thing underneath, pull the skin tight. And now we have this really pretty eyebrow. So the only thing left to do is you can take tweezers and tweeze out any little ones that you missed, or you can put the wax over it again with this stuff because, like I said, it only pulls out the hair and then just this middle section. So really easy, last couple steps, then we'll be done. So right here for the middle, I usually just do one stripe up the center. Make sure I have a nice amount there, and then I just slowly ease my ledge over until it's right where I want it. You don't want to go too far in. You never want to go past the corner of the eye. This corner of the eye right here, you don't ever want to bring it in closer to that. So hers are actually okay right now. And then the hair grows up, so I applied it up going this way, and then when I pull it down, I'm going to pull it this way towards her nose. And then there's a couple little spots that I want to clean up underneath here. Just right in here by the archway. These are perfect times to clean up while that's drying. Little blob there. And then this one, little blob here. And when those dry, we will just pop those off. They won't even be that painful because they're just a couple hairs. She won't even really notice it. This one will be a little bit of a sting, and we got to make sure that we're pulling the skin tight. And you can just put your finger on the bridge of the nose and pull down a little bit. And then you flip it and you pull it off, finger down. Beautiful. And these ones are dried up pretty good. It dries pretty quick. And so now the very last step I always do is I take my shears, make sure they're nice and clean, and I take a clean comb and I comb through the eyebrows. I always do this because sometimes we have really long pieces that like to just stick out, and I go through up at the top and I just trim them down a little bit. And then when they lay back in, and you can even push them down and do the same thing. You never want to cut into the eyebrow, but just be really careful. See, there's just a couple that it didn't get for some reason. But tweezing 2 or 3 little hairs is no big deal. Their skin's probably numb right now anyway from all the waxing, right? Mm-hmm. And then I always dust off with a clean, dry towel, trying to get all of the little hairs off out of their face and eyes. Okay, you're all done. And that is how you use Cerapil wax to do eyebrows. And hopefully you guys like this video and you think her eyebrows are beautiful, because they are. Give my niece a thumbs up for having beautiful, beautiful eyes and eyelashes. She's so cute. I love her. And make sure you guys subscribe, tell your friends, and we'll keep making videos. Thanks guys, see ya.